All right, y'all, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Pick us up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. But you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my word? Praise be to Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. You know, we started talking about some stuff in Exodus 21. So go ahead and rock with it. We're going to rock out with some things in here, man. Some years back, we had went through the law in a very fashion. But we're going to be able to tie this back in to still what we're dealing with in Isaiah 28. So it's not a complete and full departure. Let's take a look at Exodus 21:1. Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. Shalom, man. Of course, when we look at judgments here, this is judgment, this is justice, this is the art of deciding a case. See, a lot of people love to scream about judgment, but this is also a proper, fitting measure, custom manner, and plan. I know, y'all go ahead and hit that like button. I know we still got to discuss the last part of Job chapter 4, by the way, which is the uprightness of his ways. That has not been forsaken nor discarded. Also, the fact that dealing with y'all finding examples of men in the text who called the people to enter into a covenant with death. That's still on the books and still will be done. But let's continue. He said, if you buy a Hebrew servant 6 years shall he serve, and the seventh he shall go out free for nothing. So let's look at free for nothing. Let's deal with that. We'll take each verse one by one and break them on down and go on our way. When you're looking at free, you're looking at the word kof-shi, a word I think we dealt with before, kot, pay, shan, and yard. It is free from slavery, free from taxes and obligation. Now, when you sit back and you look at for nothing, you have kimnam, kot, noon, mean, freely, for nothing. You know what I'm talking about? And of course, you have other things, but that's not the definition that you're going to need there. So you got one who is free from slavery, taxes, or obligation, and he leaves for absolutely nothing. Of course, you got buy, which we talked about that, and that's kana, that is to acquire or to possess. So this is what we want to do. Hold on. Something that came to my brain. Come to Leviticus. We're going to take that word wise. Come to Leviticus 24, I believe. Leviticus 24, I believe. 25, is it 25? It's 25. It's the Jubilee chapter. It's the Jubilee chapter, 25 and 42. Shalom, Brother Ellis. We're in Leviticus 25 and 42. We're going to slide through. We're going to make it plain. You know what I'm saying? I seen some dude tag me in the post, man, but the type of stuff they were dealing with, I can't type that out, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the street all day, every day. I can't type all that out. You know what I'm saying? He was posting certain stuff. I just was telling him this here, man, this is the first time I ever seen anybody say Isaiah 53 was King Hezekiah. That was the first. You know what I'm talking about? That was a first. But see, I'm telling you this here because this same brother said, Yahuwah is his teacher. Do you see the danger? See, this is the danger. That's why I tell you better pay attention. Because he said Yahuwah teaching him that. You know what I'm talking about? He said, Yahuwah teaching them that. So you're trying to put Mashiach there like Christianity. But some of y'all know this here, man. From the time some people ran across me, they were like, yeah, man, I thought you was a Christian. People think because you can identify them. But again, boy, praise Yahuwah. Because see, y'all can identify the Lord in a fashion that others cannot. And just know that. Remember what he told you in Matthew 13. Blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear, because you see things that many righteous men have desired to see and have not seen. You know what I'm talking about? Don't take it for granted. Give thanks. You know what I'm talking about? But Leviticus 25 and 42. For they are, hold on, let me back that up. Let me back it up to 38, because that would be matter of fact, make it 35, because I need you to have proper context all the way through. If your brother be waxing poor and falling in decay with you. Let's look at falling in decay. Let's look at what that means when he says falling in decay. Now you got yad, mach. So when you look at when you sit there, here, dislodge, to fall, to be greatly shaken, to be moved, or to be overthrown. So when you look at falling in decay, you're looking at someone who has been overthrown. Then, of course, you got yad. So you have the strength or power of a man has been caused him to be overthrown. So now you have to sit back and you have to look at that in the aspect of how we're looking at it, because Satan has overthrown many. Let's look and see how Satan has overthrown many. Pause, and that gets back, because we didn't discuss this the other day, but it was referenced. Let's come over here to Mark chapter 3. You can see it for yourself. We'll pick it up to 3 and 23. Mark 3 and 23. Look, Joanne, what you over there talking about? Hey, Joanne. Hey, Joanne. Huh? What you over there talking about? Mark 3 and 23. And he called them and said unto them in parables, how can the adversary cast out adversary? If the kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if the adversary rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. No man can enter a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first will bind the strong man, then he will spoil his house. Shalom, man. So guess what that means? Satan has overthrown a man. But how is he able to come through and overthrow? Because you let him in. This is what you're looking at when they say fallen in decay. You've waxen poor and fallen in decay. You have been overthrown. Waxen poor in this particular word here is mook, to be low, to grow poor, to be depressed, to be poor, to be impoverished. Well, why are you impoverished? Well, you've impoverished because you've given away your riches. You gave away your riches because you allowed the strong man to come into your house and bind you up and take what you have, and now you've been overthrown. Verse 35 of Leviticus 25, one more time. If your brother be waxing poor and fall in decay with you, you shall relieve him. He said, a stranger or sojourner, that he may live with you. Well, let's look at relieving. Now, when you look at relieve, you have kazak. And of course, if you know what kazak means, that means to strengthen or to prevail, to restore, to strength, or to give strength, to support. So let's take another look. Let's take a look at something of what Yahushua said to Peter. Let's go to Luke 22. Let's go to Luke 22, verse 25. Now, of course, if you got some good understanding of the word, this Luke 22 and 25, going to what I was telling y'all about, ain't no competition. How you in the word competing against somebody else? I seen some dudes arguing back and forth, talking about they don't like the fact dudes be going at One West camp. And he was like, you know what, where the debate at? See all that stuff? Who got time for that? And it's the number one fail-safe that dudes come up with. They be on the corner risking their lives to get this truth out. Man, you can sell that to somebody else. You ain't risking your life. Ain't nobody locked up or killed. Now one of you niggas for out there for them lies you out there telling. And you think just because somebody telling somebody they're Israelite that I'm supposed to look past the nigga, you out here lying, boy. And you think the Lord about that? Boy, you out here lying, boy. Boy, you lying, boy. You know what I'm talking about? You lying. Now, whether you intentionally lying or unintentionally lying is neither here nor there. I'll tell you this here, man. I know I ain't told y'all this in a while. I remember a long time ago, man. It was a Sunday. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what I was living in San Marco. I had to slid the Regency, man. So the what you call it? What you call that thing? The Skyway wasn't running. You know what I'm talking about? So I usually just walk across the Main Street Bridge on the way back to the house. You know what I'm talking about? So boom, I'm coming through Hemet Plaza. I see them boys out there, man. I wasn't finna say nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? They out there accosting some dude. They know this dude don't know no book. They out there lying. You know what I'm talking about? I walk past. It just pierced my heart. Like, go on back around there, man. What is you doing? You know what I'm saying? And they were going back and forth about 2 Kings chapter 2 with Elijah and they were going back about reincarnation. Let me take that back. I think I said to them something in 2 Kings chapter 2, and they couldn't answer it. In regards to when he said, man, well, what deal with this here? When Elisha asked for double portion of the spirit, I say, well, is that reincarnation while the man's still living? And they standing there looking stupid. You know what I'm talking about? And they're disappointed at, man. Just because you out there standing out there with the word ain't supposed to mean I'm supposed to give you some props and praises and you out there lying. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you damning people's souls, nigga. I'm not a party to that. All I can do is what Jeremiah did and say, amen. Let the word come to pass. If you prophesying, but I ain't finna bid you Godspeed and be a partaker of your wicked deed. That's what I ain't gonna do. You know what I'm talking about? You want to talk about Yahushua ain't this and that there and the third? Well, I'm not bidding you Godspeed. You an enemy to me as far as I'm concerned. You could bump all that, we Israelites and all that. You put all that to the side, because when it come down, well, you're going to have to stand on one side of the ledger. And we just read that last week, man. These people going to kill you, man, and think they going to do Elohim service. All that we brothers and kinsmen and all that junk ain't going to mean nothing then. And you let these niggas bang that in your head if you want to, you a damn fool. Literally. You a dummy. If you let somebody tell you that brotherhood in the flesh is equal to or greater than brotherhood in Elohim, you a fool. You know what I'm talking about? And you're going to die like one too. Don't let nobody fool you into that. Well, your loyalty is to Yahuwah. Your loyalty can't be to the house of Yasharal. Boy, you a dummy if it is. Just because somebody Israelite don't mean their loyalty is to Yahuwah. You should know that by now. Luke 22 and 25. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them. They that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. Remember, right? He said, if you exercise authority over somebody, that person's supposed to benefit from you. And rightfully so. But see, when you look at it in the things of the body of Mashiach, those who have authority don't benefit from the people in that fashion. See, these niggas run their mouth about people. See, let me tell you something, man. See, these old bussy niggas out here, man, see, they don't want no authority or no defined leadership because that give them freedom to do the sucker stuff that these whole niggas be out here doing. You know what I'm talking about? They don't want accountability to men. They don't want accountability to anyone. So it's easier. Look here, right? If a dude a wicked leader, then he a wicked leader, Yahuwah gonna deal with him. These niggas so dumb that they ain't even put it in their brain that maybe Yahuwah has set that man up to be a wicked leader at that time to damn the souls whom he wanted damned. You know what I'm talking about? Because contrary to popular belief, there are souls that Yahuwah won't damn for reasons known unto Yahuwah. It is not for me to try to understand. It's not for me to search out. But that man say he has made the wicked for the day of judgment. That man said there are vessels made unto destruction, just like there's vessels made unto salvation. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Yahuwah does it as he pleases, when he pleases, to whom he pleases, and it's not my job to decipher and figure that out. It's not my job to figure out, well, why he's saving this person and damning that one? Because he want to. And that's all I need to know. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what? This man would prefer that everybody be saved and obey, but he ain't made everybody that way. Because how you gonna know he a mighty and powerful Elohim if you don't? Well, what they did wrong? Nay, old man, who do you reply against your maker? Who is he? How is the clay to say to the potter, why have you made me this way? Because he wanted to, nigga. If you don't like it, take it up with the Lord when you see him. Verse 26, Luke 22. But you, not so. But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger. He that is chief as he that do serve. For whether is greater, he that sit at meat or he that serve? Not he that sit at meat, but I am among you as he that serve. Yea, you are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint you a Malkuth, as my Abba have appointed unto me. When does he say when he appointed them a Malkuth? That means he say he appointed them dominion and rule. See, these niggas gonna be in for a shock if you just think, well, it's gonna be men who got dominion and rule over you in this man's kingdom. You can't have a king, shalom, man. You can't have a kingdom without dominion and rule. You can't have a kingdom without dominion and rule. And you can't have a kingdom without dominion and rule if there's not men who have dominion and rule. If every single solitary congregation is a setup to prepare you for the kingdom of Elohim, then there has to be men in it who have rule over it. That's common sense if you're a man. See, if you don't have a mind of a man, that bothers you because you think it's just supposed to be a free-for-all, a whole bunch of brothers holding each other's hands. That's not how that works. That's why one of the reasons why Paul wrote in his letter, if you can't have authority over your own house, how you going to have authority over the house of Elohim? That's why that's in there. They said if you don't know how to rule your own house, you can't rule the house of Elohim, which is to regulate it and have dominion and rule over it. That's a necessity of manhood. You have to know how to rule. What makes you think this man gonna have a kingdom and ain't nobody ruling in it? Have you forgotten what he told you in Jeremiah that you would have governors? These men will have dominion and rule. See, the problem is you so used to so many wicked men having rule that you just equate rulership and dominion and authority with wickedness. Well, guess what? You sound like a woman in these days and times talking about death to the patriarchy. That's how you sound. You sound like a feminist and you don't even know it because you're giving female talking points. That junk is disgusting and vile. You have to pay attention to that. There's too many young men, shalom, Brother Shaul. It's too many young men in 2022, quote unquote, that speak with female talking points. As a man, you should be disgusted with yourself if you catch yourself talking with female talking points, because that means you've taken on the mind of a woman. Men were made to rule. And yes, there will be men under the rule of other men, but you know what the book say. He that ruleth amongst men must be just. He just told you here, okay, if you got rule and authority, serve. Don't be around here trying to be a benefactor or to benefit or to exploit those who you have rulership over. That is not the example that the Lord gave. Now, of course, all of this is coming from Exodus 21, that he that is bought a Hebrew servant, which we're going to get to because Yahushua bought you, boy. He bought you so he can set you free. But we're going to get to that in a minute. Verse 30. That you may eat at my table in my kingdom and sit on the throne, judging the 12 tribes of Yasharal. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, the adversary desire you that he may as wheat or sift as wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith fail not. And when you're converted, strengthen your brethren. Now, I ain't going to go that far. That's a little disrespectful. But I ain't going to go that far. But I understand. Now, what did we come there for? Because he said, if your brother is waxing poor, or your brother has been overthrown, if your brother has been impoverished and he has fell into decay or been overthrown, he said you need to relieve him or to strengthen him. Well, we know what is strength. Trust in Yahuwah, for trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. That's how you strengthen your brethren, by giving them the words of faith, because that's the only thing that's going to strengthen them. You understand? So that's how you relieve your brother who's been overthrown. See, let me show you another spot. Galatians chapter 6. Let the Lord be praised. 6:1. But I understand your sentiment, good sir. Shaul said he would rather say that they have the mind of a Mitch. Brethren, if any man be overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore such as one in the ruach of meekness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted. Because if anybody's been overthrown in a fault, anybody been overtaken in a fault, that means he's been overthrown. And if you've been overthrown, that means you allow Satan to overthrow you. How did you allow Satan to overthrow you? Because you let him in your house. Well, how did you let him in your house? Because you led with the flesh and you didn't walk in the ruach. That's how you let him in your house. What is your house? It is your body. That means you let him into your mind and your inner sanctum. And you let him overthrow you. Now you in decay. Bear you one another's burdens and so fulfill the Torah or the law or instruction of Mashiach. I understand, Shaul. I feel you, my G. Shoot, Ish, I feel you, man. But I ain't gonna say this here that necessarily all of them disrespecting Yahuwah Shaul. What I'm talking about is men who converse using female talking points, and I don't think a lot of times these brothers even realize that they're using female talking points. A lot of stuff brothers be saying is from a woman's point of view. And I'm be honest with you, anytime you hear grown men having a problem with other men having authority, that comes from the mind of a woman. You know what I'm talking about? Because any man who was raised by men understand that there is an order of authority and how things work. See, the issue is not the authority. The issue is the individuals in authority and how they use it. You know what I'm talking about? You can't blame authority because somebody like this here. See, a lot of people are taught this trash because they don't like somebody said this or said that. But to exploit authority, that means you have to exploit the people. If you can't pinpoint how an individual is exploiting the people to his benefit, then you just running your mouth like a scorned hoe. You can't say, oh, he exploiting them people. Well, what he getting from them? Nothing. That's how you know that's a nigga. He got an issue with that man, and he ain't really got no leg to stand on. So he just making something up because it's a bunch of pussy niggas that'll take a nigga's story and run off right tackle with it. You know what I'm saying? And you have to watch for stuff like that too. Nigga come to you talking down on another dude, and you don't really know that dude. Man, you ain't supposed to listen to that nigga. That whole stuff. See, I'll tell you what a real nigga will do. A real nigga tell you, hey man, I don't fool with that nigga, and this is why. Now, what you choose to do, what you choose to do. But if you fool with that nigga, don't bring that nigga around me because I don't fool with it. You know what I'm saying? See, that's what men do. They'll let you know up front, I don't fool with that dude, bro. And this is why I don't fool with him. They ain't gonna tell you, man, don't fool with that nigga unless that nigga on some perverted, real, extra, wicked type time. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna let you know, hey, man, that's what that nigga on, bro, and I don't fool with that nigga. Whatever you do, that's what you. Because sometimes you get to the point where it be certain people like, bro, don't bring that dude around me, bro. I already told you I don't fool with it. You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank, I don't fool with it. See, when you go around here, oh, this nigga this and this nigga that. See, that whole stuff right there, man, because especially if you ain't never said it to that man. And why am I mentioning that? Because that's what they did to the Lord. Most of the stuff that the scribes and Pharisees had to say, they never said it to him. And when they did say it to him, it's after they got him accosted and arrested, then they felt emboldened to run their mouth because they knew there wouldn't be no consequences and repercussions for running their mouth. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of dudes talk stuff from a safe place because they know ain't nothing going to happen to them. You have to watch. That's not men's behavior. That's women's behavior. That's what women do. But y'all know that already if you've been living long enough. If you've been living long enough, you already know that. 6 and 3, for if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceive himself. See, it's a lot of brews think they something and they ain't nobody. They ain't nobody but a big dummy. But let every man prove his own work, then he shall have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. But see, this is the thing. We came there for what? If a man is overtaken in a fault or been overthrown, those who got walk in the ruach, you know what I'm talking about? Come on through and relieve that brother. Give him some strength. You know what I'm talking about? That's all it is. But see, yeah, indeed, niggas on the internet, but we don't care about niggas on the internet because that's just like you said, they just niggas on the internet. Leviticus 25 and 36. Take you no usry of him or increase, fear your Elohim, and that your brother may live with you. Now look at that, how we go. You see how that went right back to the Matthew? Well, I read Luke 22, but it's in Matthew 20. You see how it went right back to that? To not be a benefactor, but to strengthen your brethren and not seek to come up off of them. What is the word for usry? Of course, you know this is nesek. This is interest on the debt. So just because you relieve that brother don't mean you turn back around and say, oh, let me get this and let me get that. See, they got to pay attention. See, a lot of these dudes talk the word, but they don't live the word. Not in them aspects, because they won't want to come up. Then you have niggas who want to tell you what they done did for niggas. Who cares if you did it from the heart? Who cares what you did for them? If that person went sour and went left, then that's indicative of their character, not about what you did, because the Lord told you to give and seek nothing in return. That's what he told you to do, because he gave and he ain't asked nothing from you. He ain't asked nothing from you. Not a single solitary dime. Let's continue. He said, you shall not give him your money upon usry, nor lend him your victuals for increase. Yahuwah I, Yahuwah your Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Mizraim to give you the land of Canaan to be your Elohim. If your brethren that be waxing poor be sold unto you, you should not compel him to serve you as a bond servant. Now sit back and look at it, right? Again, what is waxing poor? That's moot. You've been poor, you impoverished. You got to understand something. The minute you walk away, the minute you in sin, boy, you impoverished. You understand? Remember, he said he loved those that love him. And he had great revenue or great riches. See, if you don't have the Lord, you ain't got no riches. Remember what it told you in James, that you rich in faith. See, if you don't have the faith, if you don't have the work, if you don't have the work, if you don't have Yahushua, then you impoverished. See, when you in sin, you broke. You understand? When you in sin, you broke. You ain't got nothing. Because remember, he told you to count. He counseled you to buy gold, but out of the fire, that you might be rich. He said, now if he be waxing poor, you can't compel him to be a bondservant. What is compelled? That is a bod. That is to cause him to work or to labor or entice him to be a bond servant. Now, of course, if he's been sold unto you, sold is makar, and of course, that is to sell or to be sold. You sold yourself to sin, so this man sold himself to deliver you from sin, therefore he has purchased you. Now, what is bond servant? Of course, you know that is ibed, that is a slave. So Yahushua will not entice you or move you to be a slave, if you would. Listen what he said. As an hired servant or sojourner shall he be with you, and he shall serve you unto the year of Jubilee. So guess what? He said you'll be a hired servant. What does that mean to be a hired servant? Of course, this is secure. This is a hired laborer. Well, what does that mean? That takes you back to the parable of the penny. See, slaves don't get paid. That's why I don't like when I hear dudes say I'm going to the plantation and it's that, then the third. Slaves don't get paid. Slaves do it or die. Slaves do it or be beaten. You understand? You're not a slave. This man hired you to do it. Why do you think this man say the workman is worthy of his hire? Why do you think he gave you the parable that everybody who came out and labored out there in that vineyard got paid a penny? You know what I'm talking about? Now, of course, you got the statement where it says slave in the Greek or in the English, but it's really talking about I'm a servant of Mashiach. You understand? You're a servant of his, and you're a hired servant because Mashiach gonna pay you. One thing you must know about our law does not tell us to hire somebody for a job and then not pay them for their labor. So you are a hired servant. He said, okay, if you've been fallen and you done waxed poor, you done gave yourself over, you've been overthrown, you've been impoverished. He said, the Lord said, I'm not going to make you a slave, I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay you. Understand this here. In the year of Jubilee, he going to pay you with everlasting life when he lets you go out free. But let's continue. Verse 41. Shall he depart from, and he shall depart from you, he and his children with him, and shall return into his own family, unto the possession of his father shall he return. And guess where you returning to? Jerusalem. That's where you returning to. For they, my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Mizraim, they shall not be sold as bondmen. And you shall not rule over him with rigor. You shall fear your Elohim. See, that goes back to the key point. If you ruling over the people, this man had already told you, you can't rule over nobody with no rigor. What does it mean to rule over them with rigor? Perek, harshness, severity, and cruelty. So I'm going to tell you something, right? Some people ain't never experienced harshness, severity, and cruelty. Let's just take a look at what does it mean to be cruel? What does it mean to be harsh? What is severity? Let's just do that. Let's look at the straight English definition. What is cruel? Willfully causing pain or suffering to others and feeling no concern about it. That's what it means to be cruel. You purposely cause pain and suffering to others with no regard in causing it. See, again, when you get around a lot of women will feel like plain, unadulterated, truthful speech about conduct is being cruel. You know what I'm talking about? They feel like that's cruel. You caused me pain. It caused you pain because there was a part of yourself that you had to face and you didn't want to face it. That's why they caused you pain and suffering, because you're comfortable staying the same. So you call that cruel. But that's not cruel. That's your whole family failed you because ain't nobody looked you in the face and told you the truth. And I ain't talking about no natural born woman neither. Let's look at harshness. And we've talked about harshness before. That is being unpleasantly rough or jarring to the senses, or the ability, the quality of being cruel or severe. So to be harsh, you would again have to be cruel, which means you would have to be purposely causing pain and suffering. What is severity? The fact or condition of being severe, which again is going to take you back to being cruel, which is to cause people pain on purpose. So when we were looking in Isaiah 28, what did you see? The leaders, the rulers, the teachers had made a covenant with death, and that would be in having no regard for the people, or making twofold more the child of hell than you are yourself. Or you're not seeking to enter into the kingdom of Shamahim, and you are not allowing others to enter in either. Therefore, you place burdens upon these people of which you will not move. Therefore, you are being cruel and severe, or ruling over them with rigor, because you're causing the pain and suffering of death to rest upon these people with no care and concern for it. And of course, we discussed that in Lamentations chapter 2, when your prophets have seen vain visions for you and have not found the reasons for your banishment. There's a lot of brews out here ruling with rigor if we sit back and look at it, the aspect of what this book say. But let's continue in verse 44. Both bondmen, your bondmaids, which you have, of the heathen that are round about you, of them shall you buy for bondmen and bondwomen. See, a lot of people don't want to hear that. See, that's tied into Isaiah 14 and a couple other places. You can buy, see, this stuff brews don't want to look at. You can buy somebody of another nation and make them a slave. Matter of fact, you can't charge interest to a Hebrew, but you can charge interest to another person who is not of the house of Yasharal. Let me not say Hebrew. You can charge interest to somebody who is of not of the house of Yasharal. Can't charge interest to another Israelite. You know what I'm talking about? See, there's nothing inherently wrong with you charging interest on your goods. You just can't charge it to a brew. He never said you couldn't charge. He never told you how much interest you could charge, or there was a cap, or it was wrong. He didn't care nothing about any of that. He said, just don't do it to your own kind. You could tax these other people however you want to tax them. That's none of my concern. You know what I'm talking about? See, we don't like to have that conversation. Why you think these people out here who run these banks, they don't care nothing about it? That's why most brews can't even open a bank. That's why most brews can't even lend money and not be righteous in doing so. Because, and when I say that, meaning that your business will run afoul where you'll get sued or you'll go to prison. You know what I'm talking about? Because you have to have the same lending practices all the way across the board, irregardless of race, color, or creed, or gender, or sexual orientation, says the Security Exchange Commission and other people who oversee such matters. Because if I had a bank and a Hebrew, whether they in the word or not, I can't charge them no interest. White man, Asian man, Latino man walk in there, or I can tax him at whatever APR I want to tax him at with no problem. And y'all should know that. Our law tell you that. There's nothing wrong with charging interest. It's who you charge interest to. Ain't nothing wrong. Some people, how could you have a slave? Real easy, but that's just a part of life. When you're in a ruling spot, you can have people to be your servants and not have to pay them. That's how that works. You know what I'm saying? You got to go from having this mind up, that's not what you believe it should be, and understand that's just how it is. You don't have to like it. It just is what it is. Because guess what? You will have servants in this man's kingdom. That's how it's said. The people not going, you're not going to be around here and been serving these people for all this time, and then you're going to get into a kingdom and they're not going to serve you. That's how that works. If that offends you, take that up with the Lord. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Verse 45, moreover, of the sons of the strangers that do sojourn among you, them shall you buy, and of their families that with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession. You shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the sons of Yasharal, you shall not rule one over another with rigor. And that's just what it is. And you have some people say, what type of God would put that in there? Take that up with him. You know what I'm talking about? It's a dude I know, he'll say that ain't the real God. See, Yahuwah is the devil God, and he wrote all these things. I say, hey, man, take that as you wish. You'll deal with him in his time. I ain't got nothing to do with that. See, some people, you'll get it all in your feelings about that. Yeah, the governments are going to switch. Absolutely. Amen. That's just what it is. If you think that everybody's going to be on equal keel and one kingdom to another, you don't have the mind of a ruler. You thinking like a woman. You know what I'm saying? There's no way in the world that any of you brothers done sat back and read history book after history book and studied kingdoms and rulership from one generation to the next and ever seen. Matter of fact, I think I've asked y'all this before. What kingdom in the history of mankind where you seen different nationalities equal on the same plane? Where have you seen that at? In the history of mankind, where have you seen that at? Did you see that in Babel? Did you see it in Babylon? Did you see it with the Medes and Persians? Did you see that with what his name is? Did you see that with the Ottoman Turks? Did you see it with Alexander the Great? Did you see it with the Greco-Roman Empire? Did you see it in the Dark Ages when your people ran Europe? Have you seen that with the Arabs when they ruled? Did you see that with Genghis Khan? Where have you seen that at? Did you see that with Napoleon? Did you see that with the Chinese when they ruled? Where have you seen where all nationalities of people were equal in a kingdom that was ruled by one set of people? Because there's never been an equal sharing kingdom in the history of mankind. That's never happened. See, we creating, see, that's why I say that's the mind of a woman. We're creating fantasy scenarios in history that never existed. When the Chinese ruled, the Chinese ruled. When the Japanese ruled, the Japanese ruled. When Genghis Khan ruled, Genghis Khan ruled. When Solomon ruled, Solomon ruled. There was no shared leadership with Solomon. There was no shared leadership with David. And you ruled over all these people and they served you. They were not on equal footing with you. As far as dominion and rule is concerned. Were they there in the kingdom and lived righteously? Did you oppress them? Absolutely not. But they did not rule on equal footing with you. And it's going to be the same in Yahushua's kingdom. These people are not, how he going to make a covenant with the people, swear a land to them people, kick them out of that land and say, I will come up with a plan to redeem them people, to put them back in the land that I swore to them, to take all people whom they serve and make them equal co-rulers with you. That's not going to happen. See, some people hear that, so he's saying the nations ain't going to be saved. That ain't what I said. What I said is they're not going to have, this man already know, you already know your law. Ain't nobody from another nation have rule over another Israelite. That can't happen. That's not supposed to happen. That's why they can't be in the ministry and have rule over you. That can't happen. Because what most Bruises don't understand, when you're in the ministry and you're in the assembly, that's rule, that's authority. They can't have rule and authority over you because that's what the law says. That don't mean they can't be saved. That doesn't mean they cannot enter into the commonwealth of Yasharal. That does not mean that they cannot come and serve Yahuwah. That doesn't mean that they won't dwell in his land and serve him and rejoice in his light and righteousness forever. But they won't have rule and dominion over you. That would defeat the purpose of saving you. See, it's hard for us to decipher that in our mind because we're not thinking like men, which means we're not thinking like rulers. You're thinking like a woman and thinking that everything should be this utopian state where everybody is equal. There's no two things on the earth that are equal. No two men are equal. Men and women aren't equal. There's nothing in life that is equal. You can't use equal. Now you have equity, you have justice, you have judgment, but there's nothing on the earth of anything that is equal. Yahuwah never said any man was equal. He said you all brethren. See, if you understand what family is, then you understand that ain't got nothing to do with being equal. You love your family members. Because guess what? Your father's not equal to you. Even with that statement, when he said you all brethren, he still had to tell you he that's greatest among you, let him be as the younger brother, because he was telling you all y'all not going to be equal. Because they were arguing about who was going to be the greatest. And he told them that all y'all not going to be equal. Darius said, it makes me think about that he made us king and priest and how you got to take on that mindset because you got to have it in the kingdom to come. So you got to already be there mentally before physically. Indeed, You already, before you can even move to another state in life, you already have to have the mindset to actually handle it when the opportunity presents itself. You can't wait till something comes and then say, that's what I meant when I tell you before, like, you need to be a wife before you get married. You can't get married and say, now I'm going to become a wife. That's not how that works. You know what I'm talking about? You have to be a husband before you take a wife. Like I seen the brother say, man, why is it so hard for Israelite brothers to get a wife and they outnumber us 20-1? And one brother say, yeah, I had to think about that because I need to get my own apartment, my own car. I'm like, that, then why you even worry about a wife? You ain't even got no car. But I was like, bro, these women ain't raised to be wives. And y'all think just because they in the word that she a wife, that's your fault. That's not her fault. Because she is who she is and she been who she is. That ain't got nothing to do with her. These dudes try to take women and make them be something that they're not and then get mad at the woman because she's not who they want her to be. That's your fault, cuz. They want to blame it on this Western society, they this, that, there, and the third. Just say you like scallywags, bro. Because the brother said the woman say she wanted to leave him because she didn't want to fool with him or wait on him because she said his divorce was taking too long. What you mad at her, that's her choice. If she's saying, hey, your divorce dragging out, I don't want to wait for that. What you mad at her for? You feel like she's supposed to wait for that? You know what that means? That means in her mind, whatever benefit she thought that she was going to get from you, it wasn't worth waiting for. Now, whether that's accurate or not, that's another conversation. That's why I said in her mind. In her mind, I ain't waiting for this. You not worth waiting for. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of brothers get upset with that. That doesn't mean that she's right. But in her mind, that's just what it is, what you mad at her for. Clearly, that's not the woman for you because she did. You know what I'm talking about? Because if she was the woman for you, she would have stuck around. See, someone like, well, I got to stick around for this. I ain't saying you got to do anything. I'm just saying if you are the woman for a particular man, then certain obstacles, whatever those obstacles may be, would not inhibit you from being with that man. You know what I'm saying? Now, it depends on what them obstacles are, because there's some obstacles somebody need to walk you up and slap you upside the back of your head and say, baby, why you still here? But we don't have all that information, so I can't superimpose that into that conversation. But I know if that woman say, oh, I'm not waiting for this, she felt like the benefit was not great enough for the wait. You know what I'm saying? And brothers get offended by that when you should just, hey, here's what it is. It's not personal. Because at the end of the day, everybody got to make the best decision that they feel is for them. You know what I'm talking about? Because these dudes be going back and forth about these hoes, man. And I'd be like, man, y'all picking hoes. And y'all feel like because they online, that's your first mistake. That y'all niggas trying to develop romantic relationships with women online. Somebody I know just said that. And I've been telling this nigga that for years. Talking about, yeah, I think somebody like, you need to stop trying to date people online and go meet people out in person. I told her, I've been told you that. She said, you're right. I do need to get out more. Nigga, you on the internet posting all day. Of course, a nigga gonna kind of come up and be what you think, what he think you gonna like, because you sharing all your thoughts, dummy. You know what I'm talking about? So they gonna know what to do to say to you. That's how you know most women ain't too sharp. Because they ain't figured that out yet. That seemed like that was a great epiphany. Maybe I should stop trying to date niggas online. You think? You think it would be better for you to actually meet somebody in person and talk to them? The same thing go for these dudes. They see him, bro, she in the word, bro. She do this, that, there, and the third. Nigga so dumb. You go visit her and you think that's really her. Of course she gonna be on her best behavior, boy. You ain't gonna really know a woman till you've been around her on a regular basis. And you ain't gonna know nobody, period, male or female, until you see them go through adversity. I've been telling you that for years. You, especially a woman, you're not going to know a woman until you've been around her and see how she deals with adversity and stress. You're not going to know what you're dealing with. As a woman, you ain't going to know what type of leader you're dealing with until you see how he can handle adversity. You're not going to know what you're dealing with. And you trying to learn that from the internet and making some road trips and catching some flights and then wonder why it ain't working out? Because y'all ain't seeking to be married. Y'all seeking to hunt. You know what I'm talking about? And then you wondering why it ain't working out. Because it was never the Lord anyway. It was all your loins. That's why he say you ask not, you want not, and you get not, because you ask amiss to consume it upon your desires. And then you want to blame these women for it. And then these women want to blame these men for it when both you niggas wicked, because y'all participated in it. You didn't want a husband and she ain't want a wife. You know what I mean? She ain't want a husband and you ain't want a wife. You wanted some coitus, some knocking some boots, some jangle-lang. That's what you wanted. You wanted to beat and skeet and get a tickle in your pickle and then blame the Lord and say these people wicked and evil. But both of y'all evil as hell. And you know it because you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And we too scared to say something about it. See, one thing I noticed about Bruise, man, your niggas got a lot to say about a lot of things, but niggas be wanting to call out some of the sour junk that they see we out here doing and then blaming each other for it. These women make all these posts, these men so evil, they so wicked, these evil wicked. Nah, you was evil right along with him. Because you know you were doing something you ain't had no business doing. And when I say that, it ain't necessarily that they committing sin. You getting involved in situations and scenarios that at a certain stage that a lot of these people are in life, they shouldn't be doing this. Because that's why I want to clarify that. Sometimes it's not about them going to sin. It's about why are you placing yourself in this situation and circumstance? You 30 plus. You got X amount of kids. You making choices and decisions that I would expect somebody in their early 20s to make. You know what I'm saying? 20, 21, 22. It's not that they say that you should be young and make stupid mistakes, but I can understand it better when you're doing it then and you 33 and doing it. Talking about these men ain't about nothing. Nigga, you 45 years old. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? This don't make sense. But hey, man, it is what it is, man. I just look at it and see a lot of people take themselves through unnecessary pain. You ain't got to take yourself through that and then blame the Lord for it. Exodus 21, verse 3. You know I ain't lying. You know these boys be out here south. Niggas our age talking about these women ain't about nothing. Why you fooling with women that ain't about nothing? How you done reach this stage of how you say you in the word, got word, and can't figure out a woman ain't about nothing? That's the part I don't understand. See, I can see for you, well, you brothers ain't that young no more. But you know what I'm saying? I can see if you brothers was at 22, 23. Man, these women ain't about nothing because you wouldn't have enough experience in life to be able to discern that. But come on, Eve, man. You about to be 50. I'm about to be 42. You who are willing. Boy, we old enough to know, boy. And you say you got word in you? And you mean to tell me you couldn't discern within 30 days, this woman full of crap? That means you ain't vetting that woman properly. That means you ain't having conversations to be able to pull out what type of woman she is. Also, because the reason why I say that, because these niggas trying to get with women online, you ain't in the flesh with them. So that means you having conversations about nothing. You ain't delving into this woman's character. I guarantee you most of these cornball niggas, they don't want to be like they said, how many men you had sex with? Like this here, right? Who cares how many men you had sex with? How many niggas broke your heart? Is there a nigga you still love? That's the stuff you want to figure out, because you ain't gonna never know how many men she been with, because she ain't gonna tell you the truth. You know what I'm talking about? They just try to find like this here. It ain't even worry about all that. You really want to know, how was your relationship with your dad? You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, let me ask you this here. Most niggas don't even know what questions to ask to see if a woman really want to serve you who or not. Because all you're really worried about is she say she want to serve the Lord. That's all you care about, to make you feel better by trying to get that booty. You know what I'm saying? You think nigga don't know that, y'all, man? Nigga know what you need these niggas out here doing, man. These boys don't want to do this stuff for real. They just want a woman next to them who gonna give them some booty. You know what I'm talking about? Indeed, probably they don't. I ain't even gonna say most of them ain't even got the skills, my G. Most of them don't even want to have that conversation because they focused on the booty. See, when you focused on the booty, you ain't trying to figure out what type of woman she is, because you want the booty. Then dudes get mad because she got kids already. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you already knew she had kids. This is the part that like this here, right? These niggas would be like, but she got kids from other men in the word. Then what you talking to her for then? If you know she got 3 kids from 3 niggas in the word, why would you want to stand up and say, let me be the 4th man on that list? Why would you do that? That say more about you than it do about her. Because if she been with 3 different niggas in the word and got 3 kids from 3 different niggas in the word, that's supposed to tell you clearly this woman ain't no wife. Why would you pursue her? Why would you do that? And ain't nobody, that means you ain't got no friends. None of your friends told you this ain't a good idea. Now you online talking bad about her? Come on, man. Man, you nigga can't be that stupid. And when I say that stupid enough to go for these nigga stories. I ain't going for that story, man. You ain't gonna tell me, bro, she been married to 3 different bruises. Let's say she ain't had no churn. Yeah, boy, this her 4th. Yeah, man, she done been with 5 different dudes since she been in the word. And you finna be number 6. That's telling you something right there about her character. That's telling you something about her character. Come on, man. Come on, man. Then you get with her and she do what she been doing. Now all of a sudden she's a wicked woman. Nigga, you's a simp, boy. And not just a regular simp. You know what type of simp he is. He a beta male simp mangina. That's what she is. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, my G, I feel you on that, but some fruit don't even need to be inspected. Sometimes you done been in the grocery store and you see that apple with that bruise on it, you ain't even have to inspect it. Come on, man. This woman tell you, yeah, man, I've been with this is my 5th relationship since I've been in the truth. And that's when you supposed to be like, you know what? This ain't gonna work for me. And guess what? I don't care what happened to you with them 4, 5 other niggas. I don't want to find it out. I see that's how some women feel like, well, you should just figure. No, I don't want to figure it out. I don't care. It's not my job to figure it out. It's not my job to inspect that. Why you feel like a man's supposed to inspect all of that? Huh? I ain't doing all that. Not my job. Because guess what? As a woman, right? If you saying you want a certain type of man, and this man come to you and say, yeah, I've been in the word X amount of years. I done had 4 different wives. I done left them all. You supposed to say, you know what? I'll pass. You ain't even supposed to try to figure that out. Because that's a pattern of negative behavior. You ain't got to do no inspection. I don't want to know. That's what the nigga say. Examine the matter before you judge. Shut your cow behind up, nigga. I'm not finna set myself up for failure and stupidity on that old nigga junk you talking. Ain't my job to inspect that. That ain't talking about that. That's talking about if somebody come talking about some junk, man, and you don't know what's going on. I don't want to know what's going on. I'm respectfully bowing out. I wouldn't tell my daughter to say, yeah, man, that nigga say he on his 5th wife. Not that he got 4 wives and he believe in polygyny, but he done been with 4 women and he ain't with them no more. Do you understand? Look here, right? I got a girl I went to school with. Man, she on her 5th or 6th husband, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you have to understand something. If you just take age 18, and we 42. That means these are short-lived relationships. I'm not trying to figure out why your relationship's going 4 or 5 years. You getting rid of this person and on to the next. I ain't trying to figure that out. I don't want to figure it out. That's male or female. I don't care. Why would I care? Why would you advise somebody to figure that out? Come on, man. Be real with yourself. But we don't like doing that. 21-3 Exodus, man. You know, a lot of bruisers ain't gonna like what I just said. I frankly don't care. Y'all niggas know what you're doing. That's why all these women who talking about that's why they don't want to deal with no man in the word. That's why a lot of these dudes say they don't want to deal with no woman in the word. That's a husband every 2 years, man. That's real deal, man. I'm talking about this is my nigga, man. I remember when she was carrying her oldest son, nigga. We was in high school. Well, she been married 6 times, man. She was pregnant with her oldest son. I think she was like 17, 18, man. We were working at KFC, man, on Powers Ave. Shoot, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot. Her oldest child, daddy, that nigga cut my hair. I know these niggas, man. This nigga been married 5, 6 times, man. We're the same age. She turned 42 before me. We the same age. That's 24 years of legal marriage. Well, that's a different husband every 4 to 5 years. Come on, man. I'm not trying to figure that out. I'm not trying to figure that. And that goes the same for a dude. I ain't coming with no unequitable judgment. I wouldn't tell my daughter, oh, figure that out. No. And when I say daughter, I ain't just talking about Joanne over there. I'm talking about every woman in the congregation who wouldn't be married. Nah, baby, don't figure that out. I'm not sending you around there to that dude, because that's a pattern of bad behavior. There's something wrong here. Unless all of them died, it's something ain't right. And hopefully you ain't like that white man we seen the other night. You know what I'm talking about? We seen a white man, Buddy was boiled out, man. Buddy was killing his wife. And felt proud about it too. He said he literally told the police, I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. Exodus 21:3. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but pretty much that's what he said. Am I lying? That's what he said. He said if he came in by himself, he'll go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. If the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring unto him the judge, and he shall bring him to the door. We'll deal with this later, because that's a whole different matter. And that ain't what I named the video after. We'll talk about that later. See, but the part that I wanted to start with about if you buy a Hebrew servant, he'll go out free for nothing. Oh, come on back, because I ain't read John 8. I almost messed up the play. Pray the Lord, though. Y'all know what it is. You get John 8, and we'll get 2 Corinthians chapter 3, man. Because remember, he said he would disannul their covenant with death, and also, of course, put a stop to their visions that produce death in order to set the people free. See, I don't even think sometimes we consider the great lengths that your God went to set you free. You know what I'm saying? John 8:31, then said Yahushua to those Yahudim which believed on him, if you continue in my word, are you my disciples indeed? And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The faithfulness of Elohim shall free you. You sold yourselves for naught, but you were redeemed without money. And therefore, if you're a Hebrew servant, and you buy a Hebrew servant, you've been purchased. He said he witnessed a lot of no shame in regards to online activity, especially in the quote unquote community. My scroll pass game is tough though. And see, this is the sad part that we call it the Hebrew community. There ain't no Hebrew community. It's the body of Mashiach, essentially what it is. The assembly of the firstborn, as the text stated. The congregation of Yahuwah. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I just talked to my man earlier. He was getting his car, riding from Georgia back to Connecticut, and he said, I'll never, ever in my life do anything like what I did in Goshen if it ain't somebody who I'm blood related to. And that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? See, but I done told y'all this for years. Man, the word ain't no black power movement. It's the word of salvation. We take this man's word and morph it into be what we think or feel it should be outside of what he ordained it to be. And you wondering why you not getting the desired result, because you ain't doing it how he desired it to be done. And therefore, you ain't going to get nothing from it but pain, heartache, and this, that, and the third. Because, man, and it really is on my brain before I even got good out the shower, man. I seen a lady say, I'm done with you Hebrew niggas. I ain't dating no more. But I understand why she felt that way, because she got involved in a situation that wasn't stable with an individual. You would think at a certain time in life that everybody would know, never be somebody's rebound. If you know somebody fresh from dealing with another person, you got to be a fool to say, now I'm going to go deal with her. Especially a woman. You know what I'm talking about? But shoot, especially a dude. Sometimes a dude too. Man, you know, somebody said, oh, I just broke up with such and such. Well, go on and get yourself in order first. I'm not finna deal with you. Because you still got emotional and unresolved emotional attachments, thoughts, feelings, whatever the case you want to be about another person. And you're not finna use me to be your emotional sounding board, trampoline, or anything of the sort. You got to have enough respect for yourself to say, no, I'm not doing that. But we in the word and we feel like it ain't supposed to matter. Instead of thinking to yourself, how does nigga in the word separate from somebody and then want to come get with me? Brother Shaul, that's why a lot of brothers are presently damned for blaspheming the word of Yahuwah. And indeed, and I ain't even going that far, but you ain't lying. I'm really just talking about the stupidity of niggas. She just broke up with a nigga, and you like this here, Shalom, Aku. I see your relationship ain't worked out. You a buster anyway. Cause you supposed to say, you know what? Nah, baby. Get with me in 3 to 6 months. 8, 9. Man, you know how long it takes for somebody to mentally and emotionally divest themselves from a person, especially a woman? Is she actually cared for him? Oh man, if she had sex with him, tack on some more time. And guess what you want to do? You want to be Roger Troutman. You know what, Roger Troutman? I want to be your man. That's what you want to do. You want to sing the song. Now you T-Pain, you sprung out here looking like a dummy. 8:33, John. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed. We never been in bondage to any man. How say you shall be made free? Yahushua answered them, truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin. The servant abide not in the house forever. The son abide ever. If the son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. I know that you're Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me because my word have no place in you. I speak that which I seen with my Abba, and you do that which you seen of your Abba. Now, of course, you know he come to set you free. 2 Corinthians chapter 3. What he came to set you free from, you know what it is. It's that sin and that death that's been weighing you down. It's been weighing you down. He came to set you free from it. That's why all that stuff we was looking at in the beginning, that's what the basis of it from. 2 Corinthians chapter 3. You can pick it up at verse 1. You niggas crazy out here, man. Thank the Lord that he give you some understanding. You ain't get caught up in no folly. See, this something I be telling some brother when they come across y'all, man. I be telling, I done told y'all. I say, man, most of these brothers and sisters in here, man, they don't be on the internet on that what you want. They living their life. They just serving Yahuwah. They don't know nothing about you Israelite wars and battles and stuff that y'all niggas be going through. And when a nigga tell it about it, that don't make them want to get online and do it. That junk be so hard for a lot of brews to understand that some brews just out here living their life, bro. They ain't participating in none of this folly you niggas got going on. They just quietly and peacefully serving the Lord. And for some Hebrews, that's just an amazing thought pattern that people can just quietly and peaceably serve the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? Do we begin to commend ourselves, or need we as some epistles of commendation to you? From you? You are an epistle written in our hearts, known and read of all men. Manifestly declared to be the epistle of Mashiach, ministered by us, written not with ink, but the Ruach of the living Elohim, not in tables of stone, but in fleshly tables of the heart. And such trust have we through Hamashiach to Elohim ward, not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of Elohim. Who have made us able ministers or servants of the new covenant or the new bereaved, not of the letter, but of the Ruach, for the letter kill, but the Ruach give life. If the ministration of death written and engraven in stones was esteemed, so that the sons of Yasharal could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses for the esteem of his countenance, which was to be done away, how shall not the ministration of the Ruach be rather esteemed? For if the ministration of condemnation esteemed, much more the ministration of righteousness exceed in esteem. And all that's telling you is, if the law is glorified, then of course the Ruach HaKodesh is going to be greater glorified, which is what we were talking about before. The law don't save, but yet it doesn't mean that it should not be esteemed, but it don't save. Let's drop down so we can get out of here. Verse 14, but their minds were blind. With verse 13, and as Moses put a veil over his face, the sons of Yasharal cannot steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. Their minds were blinded, for unto this day remain the same veil, untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which is done away in Mashiach. But even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. Now the Lord is that Ruach, and where the Ruach of the Lord is, there is freedom. Now you can go out free for nothing, just like the law said. The Ruach of the Lord, but we all now open face, beholding as in a glass the esteem of the Lord, and are changed into the same image from esteem as esteem, even as by the Ruach of the Lord. Back to Exodus 21. We want to pick it up at verse 8. I'll make this brief. We'll use it again to lead in. Verse 7, if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. If she please not a master who have betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing that he have dealt deceitfully with her. Now, let's look at this. I think we talked about it a little bit on Pentecost. Again, right? If the master sees evil. See, let's turn around to Deuteronomy 24. See, now we referenced this stuff, but we didn't line it up. So right now we're gonna come through and we're gonna line it up. So again, right, if it says if she please not her master, what you have here is Ra Ayin Adon or Adonai. What do you have? If the master sees evil, that's what you got. If she please not, he sees evil. Matthew 24:1. I mean Deuteronomy 24:1. Excuse me. Deuteronomy 24:1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes because he found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. Now, why do you say find no favor? What you have is find no favor, no acceptance. I find things that are unacceptable. Then she finds no favor in his eyes because he found some uncleanliness. Uncleanliness here is erva, that is shame, nakedness, shameful exposure, but most importantly, improper behavior. When we look at uncleanliness, we found some improper behavior. Now we want to look at bill of divorcement, and for divorcement, what we have here is karuth. Ka, Raj, Tau. That is a divorce. That is a dismissal. I want you to come to Isaiah chapter 50. Because remember, he said he can't sell you to a strange nation if he's betrothed you to himself. Let me get that word for betrothed one more time for you because I don't think I referenced it. Matter of fact, go to Ezekiel 16 for the betrothed. And betrothed here is Ya'ad, and that is to fix, to appoint, to assemble, to meet, or to betroth. Yad, Ayin, Dalet. Let's come over here to Ezekiel 16 so you can see that Yahuwah betrothed you to himself. So for him to give you, to sell you to another nation, that would mean he dealt deceitfully if he betrothed you to himself. But we have to sit back and see that what's going on because we referenced that the other night. But I'm going to show you right here that Yahuwah betrothed you to himself. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 16. I pick it up in verse 1. I got 12 minutes and then we done. For now, Yahuwah willing. Now I'm going to give you the other part, sell her to a strange nation. The sell part. You know what redeemed is? That's Padah. Everything is sit back in the same. Now I say to sell her, of course, is Makar. That is to literally sell. He cannot sell this woman to another nation because that would be begod, that would be treacherously or deceitful begod. And you remember what he said in Malachi, do not deal treacherously with the wife of your youth. So remember, he's not going to do what he told you not to do. So we have to just ascertain all that before we move forward and look at the Mashiach lineup in this regard. And this is, of course, how he can deliver us out of these wicked men's hands who've been ruling over us. Ezekiel 16:1, again, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim unto Jerusalem, your birth and nativity of the land of Canaan. Your Abba was an Amorite, your Emma was a Hittite. And your nativity in the day you were born, your navel was not cut, neither was you washed in water to supple. You was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. No eye pitied you to do any of these unto you, to have compassion upon you. But you was cast out in the open field to the loathing of your person in the day that you were born. And when I passed by you and saw you polluted in your own blood, I said unto you, in your blood live. Yea, I said unto you, in your blood live. I've caused you to multiply as the bud of the field. You have increased in wax and grape. You are come to excellent ornaments. Your breasts are fashioned. Your hair is grown. Where are you? Naked and bare. Now, when I passed by you and looked upon you, behold, your time, the time of love, I spread my skirt over you. I covered your nakedness. Yea, I swear unto you and entered into a covenant with you, saith Yahuwah Elohim, and you became mine. So there you have what? A betrothal. So let's sit back and look at this here, right? Because he said if he betrothed you, he can't sell you to another nation. Isaiah chapter 50, verse 5, maybe verse 1. Isaiah 50 and 1. Thus saith Yahuwah, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I have put away? Which of my creditors to whom I have sold you? Behold, your iniquities have you sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away. Remember, Deuteronomy 24 was talking about what? Improper behavior. It said if the master seen evil or seen sin, he said, but if he's seen the sin, he can't sell her because he betrothed her to himself. But it's different if the woman sold herself. You understand? And this woman sold herself. Let's look at where's the bill of your mother's divorcement. Bill, of course, is Sefer Karuf. Yet again, Sefer is simply book of, letter of, scroll of, dismissal. Look at what he said right here. Which of my creditors? Creditors is Nasah, which is Nashah, to lend, to be a creditor. Noon, Shan, and Hay. Guess what you done did? You done behold. We can behold the consumption of life. You sold yourself to death, which is what your very rulers had done. See, your rulers and your leaders set you up to go down that route. Now, the people are equally culpable, but it's the leaders and rulers who set you up to be sold. Ain't that's what it said in Lamentations 2 and 14? Your people ain't seen the causes of your banishment? Well, let's look at sold yourselves. And what is it? Makar. And what is it? Makar Pashah. Your rebellion caused you to be sold. You sold yourself because you chose to rebel. See, we don't like to have that conversation. We want to blame all these people and this, that, there, and the third, and you sold yourself. So guess what? Now he can give you over to another nation. Come on, I think it's another spot in Ezekiel that I want to use for this particular matter. That ain't it. Nope. Well, I'm short on time. But you know the passage where you say, right? Since you desire to serve other gods in your land, you'll serve other gods in a land that's not yours. So therefore, you have to be sold because you did not please your master. And why didn't you please your master? Because he saw evil and you had improper behavior. So therefore, your sin sold you. He didn't have to sell you. We be like, how can you sell yourself? Just because you married to somebody don't mean he can stop you from doing what you want to do. See, that's also something that a lot of brews got misconstrued. You can't stop a woman from doing anything. No amount of money, no amount of yelling or screaming is going to stop anybody from doing anything if that's what they've resounded in their heart and mind to do. See, you desired to serve other gods, so therefore you sold yourself. It wasn't none of Yahuwah, because see, Yahuwah is player. You understand? See, he ain't like none of you sucker niggas out here. I ain't talking about none of you brothers on here specifically. But I'm talking about he ain't like a lot of these simp niggas who out here teaching their word, man. Yahuwah not finna beg, plead, and press nobody to be with him. Well, he sent the prophets out there for. He was telling you that for your own good. So he wouldn't have to do to you what he said he was going to do to you. He wasn't doing you to say like this. Like I told y'all the other day, only a cornball nigga don't want his. Remember that Yahuwah never said, I'm going to keep these people away from you. I'm going to shield. He never said he was going to shield you away from anybody. I gave you my, see, this is what you stupid nigga don't realize. Man, if that woman going to be loyal to you, bro, she going to do that regardless. She know where her loyalty lies. She already know that. You ain't got to follow her around. You ain't got to do none of that. But get what? You catch her out of pocket, you got to do what you got to do. That's what Yahuwah did. You got to do what you got to do, whatever that may be in that situation and circumstance. You understand? But as far as like this here, man, I don't want her talking to this nigga. That I don't care who you talk to. You know what I'm talking about? But just know this here: if you dishonor and disrespect me, I'm gonna deal with you accordingly. And that's just it. You know what I'm talking about? Because you ain't gonna dishonor my name one too many times, boy. And I'm gonna go ahead and get you on your way, man. You can get on down the road. We're not finna live that type of life. That's not finna happen. Most dudes do that because they know they don't want their women exposed to a man who's better than them. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of dudes feel like they this, that, they're in the third, but a lot of dudes know that they trash. When I say trash, meaning they useless. They know they have no knowledge, no wisdom, no understanding. They have nothing in regards to holding a woman's attention. They can't instruct her on the word properly. They ain't got no leadership. They ain't got no masculinity. They ain't got no ambition, no drive, no nothing going on. Just hard times and a penis. You know what I'm talking about? And the last thing you want her to encounter is a man that can strike her interest, because you know deep down inside you ain't really got nothing to hold this woman in place. See, you ain't have to do that because he already showed you everything he had, and you just felt like the bum nigga was a better option. You see, you felt like Dagon was the better option. You know what I'm talking about? You felt Tammuz was the better option. They weren't offering you what Yahuwah had already given you. See, that's the thing you ain't understanding. We're talking about men who were offering you something. Yahuwah had already given it to you. That's why he said in Ezekiel 16, you take all your gifts and give them to your lovers and get nothing in return. That's why he said you's a stupid hoe. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he could say that, because they ain't offering you nothing, then they ain't giving you nothing. You giving them what I gave you. Come on, man. So that's a bad decision making on the woman. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't got nothing to do with him. But he still, because at the end of the day, he know who he is. So why I want to tell you, don't go over there where they gone. He already gonna tell you, them niggas flawed. This why they flawed. Stay from over there. Now, if you go over there, this is probably what's gonna happen. And when you take your stupid butt over there, I'm gonna have to tighten you up. That's what he told him. I'm gonna have to tighten you up. I'm telling you something, man. When you see a dude don't want his woman around nobody, talking to nobody, he ain't got nothing to hold her but some penis. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Or he blowing in her booty or something, he ain't got nothing else to hold her. Because I'm telling you something, man, if you give a woman something that she ain't got nowhere else before, if you have a level of knowledge and wisdom and understanding, that woman ain't going nowhere, because she going to be just like what Peter said. Where we going to go? You got the words of eternal life. What am I going to go over there with this nigga? He ain't got what he ain't you, nigga. At the end of the day, he ain't you. He ain't got what you got. So what am I going to go over there for? But when you ain't got nothing, you always worry about where she going to go and who she with, because you's a buster and you know it. And what they tell you when you was a little kid, if you a buster and you know it, clap your hands. You know what I'm talking about? And it's a lot of brothers be clapping their hand because they busters and they know it. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word, man. We're going to start right here for now. Yahuwah willing, man, we're going to pick it up on Shabbat and keep on rolling down Exodus 21. Probably swing in a little bit on Exodus 22. I know we ain't go grab the stuff out of Job for this evening and Isaiah 28, but Yahuwah willing, we will on the Shabbat incorporate everything in, just make it a complete and total story all the way around the board. I bless y'all, the house of Elohim, in the name of Yahushua, man. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Yahuwah willing, man, we're going to pick this up on the Shabbat and make it do what it do. And until that time,